Okay, so for more than 200 years now, Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice has been one of the most beloved novels ever. I mean, it's constantly voted one of the world's favorite books. So what's the big deal? What makes this story about the English gentry so timeless? Well, let's dive in and find out what really makes this novel tick. The book kicks off with one of the most famous opening lines in all of literature. Seriously, it just perfectly sets the stage for a story that's all about money, marriage, and, climbing that social ladder. It's like we're getting an invitation to this huge party where all these rich single guys are on the prowl for a wife. But here's the genius part. What Austen does so well is take that whole idea and just flip it completely upside down. See, the real story isn't about the guys looking for wives. Nope. It's about young women who have to find a husband. For them, marriage isn't just a romantic dream. It's a matter of survival. So let's step into the world of the Bennet family. Now, you gotta understand, for a young woman back then, a good marriage was basically the only career option available. Finding love, yeah, that was a nice bonus, but it came a distant second to the cold, hard cash needed to survive. And for the Bennet girls, the pressure is about to be turned way up.
All right, so here's the setup. You've got Mr. and Mrs. Bennet, and they have count 'em, five unmarried daughters. Their mom, Mrs. Bennet, is laser-focused on one thing, and one thing only, marrying them off. So you can imagine when a super rich, super single guy named Charles Bingley moves in next door, it's not just neighborhood gossip. It's like winning the lottery.
And there's a really good reason why Mrs. Bennet is so completely stressed out. Their family home is entailed. It's a weird, old legal thing, but basically it means the property can only go to a male relative. And guess what? The Bennets don't have any sons. So their entire home, all their money, everything is going to go to this annoying, distant cousin, Mr. Collins. The girls will be left with absolutely nothing. Now, Mr. Bingley doesn't show up alone. He brings his best friend, Mr. Darcy. And let me tell you, these two are like night and day. Bingley is the guy everyone loves. He's cheerful, friendly, and right away, he only has eyes for the oldest Bennet sister, Jane. Darcy? Well, he's even richer, but he's also arrogant, stands in the corner, and pretty much looks down his nose at everyone. Fun fact, Austen's first title for this book was actually First Impressions, and that makes total sense, because it's these first meetings that really kick off a whole mess of misunderstandings between our main characters. So they're all at a town dance, and Elizabeth Bennet, the second daughter, she's super smart and has a great sense of humor. She happens to overhear Mr. Darcy say this about her. It's just, ouch. He basically dismisses her in public, won't even dance with her, and right there, in that one single moment, his pride creates her prejudice. It's instant. But don't you worry, Elizabeth can give as good as she gets. She's got plenty of pride of her own. And her comeback? It's just perfect. It shows she's every bit as smart and, yeah, every bit as proud as he is. He hurt her pride, and she is not letting that go. The battle lines are officially drawn. So just when Elizabeth thinks Darcy can't possibly get any worse, in walks this guy, Mr. Wickham. He's a soldier, he's handsome, he's charming. Basically, he's the total opposite of Darcy. And what does he do? He tells Elizabeth this sob story about how Darcy cruelly cheated him out of a bunch of money. I mean, it confirms every single bad thing she already thinks about Darcy. So of course she believes every last word. Okay, so now things get really interesting because, believe it or not, Mr. Darcy starts to fall for Elizabeth. He's drawn to her intelligence and her fire, but his first try at telling her how he feels, oh man, it is a train wreck, a complete and utter disaster. In fact, it's probably one of the most cringeworthy marriage proposals ever written. So Darcy proposes, right? But he does it by basically listing all the reasons he shouldn't be marrying her, insulting her family and her social status. So Elizabeth, who is completely furious at this point, just shuts him down. Hard. She lays it all out for him. 1, he's arrogant. 2, he broke her sister Jane's heart. And 3, he was a total monster to poor Mr. Wickham. Darcy is just stunned. But instead of arguing, he does something else. He writes her a letter. And this letter changes everything. It is the absolute turning point of the whole story. This is where the truth finally starts to come out and cracks begin to show in all that prejudice. So what's in the letter? Well, Darcy drops a bombshell about Mr. Wickham. That whole story about the inheritance? A total lie. The truth is Wickham blew through the money Darcy gave him, and then, get this, he tried to run off with Darcy's 15-year-old sister to steal her fortune. He's not a victim, he's a total scoundrel.
You can just imagine Elizabeth reading this. This new information completely shatters her worldview. She has to face the fact that her own pride, her own quick judgment, the thing she was so confident about, was dead wrong. She was totally blinded by that first impression, and now she has to rethink absolutely everything. So now we're at a point where both of our main characters have been taken down a peg. Darcy's been humbled by her rejection. He finally gets that his pride is a huge problem. And Elizabeth has been humbled by the truth. She realizes her prejudice was based on a complete lie. And this is what finally opens the door for a real second chance. But just when you think things might be looking up, bam! A huge family scandal hits. The youngest Bennet sister, Lydia, who is wild and reckless, runs off with, you guessed it, Mr. Wickham. Now, you have to understand, back then, this was social ruin. An unmarried couple living together, it was the kind of thing that could destroy the entire family's reputation. And guess who comes to the rescue? Mr. Darcy. He does it all behind the scenes. Totally in secret, he hunts down Lydia and Wickham, pays off all of Wickham's huge debts, and pretty much forces him to marry Lydia to save the family's honor. And he does it all for Elizabeth with zero expectation of getting any credit for it. At this point, Darcy has shown who he really is. Not through his words, but through his actions. And Elizabeth, who has finally let go of all her prejudice, can now see the good, honorable man he is underneath that proud surface. So when he proposes again, and this time he does it right, she happily says yes. So yeah, Pride and Prejudice is a romance, it's about class, it's about money, but what really makes it stick with us is that it's a powerful reminder of something we all deal with. It shows us how easily our own pride and our snap judgments can totally blind us to who people really are. It really makes you think, doesn't it? How often do our own first impressions get in the way of the truth?